All right, I'm standing in front of the house of Dr. John McLoughlin in Oregon City. We're on Center Street. In 1845, when Dr. McLoughlin built the house, he built it down by the river where the Blue Heron Mill now stands. When the house was moved up here in 1909 and continued to sit here until 1937 when the Barclay House was moved up here. Mr. Barclay was a physician at Fort Vancouver, worked with Dr. McLoughlin for about 9 years, and when he retired he came over here to Oregon City and built his home, and then in 1937 that home was moved up here. The house was moved here in 1909. It took 2.5 months for the ladies to get it cleaned up, get it presentable, and they dedicated it as a museum on September 5th, 1909. We have just celebrated our 104th birthday, and I believe that makes us the oldest museum in the state of Oregon. I'd like to have you look down here in the bottom of this glass case that we have here in the McLoughlin House. The picture you see on the left is a picture of the cross of St. Gregory, which was given to Dr. McLoughlin by Archbishop Father Blanchette, who was the head of the Catholic Church out here in the 1840s. When Mr. Blanchette was sent back to Rome to have an audience with the Pope, he told the Pope that he had a gentleman out here who was so compassionate and so loving to all the people here that he deserved some kind of award. And what did Pope Gregory XVI give him? The highest award that he could receive, being a non-priest, and that was the award of Humanitarian Award. That was given to Dr. McLoughlin in 1846, and in the middle there you'll see a decree, which actually decreed Dr. McLoughlin a Knight of St. Gregory, one of his most precious possessions. This room here is called the main parlor, or the parlor. This is where Dr. McLoughlin and his family would have entertained. Some of this furniture actually came out of Fort Vancouver. Dr. McLoughlin built Fort Vancouver in 1825 as the headquarters for the Hudson Bay Company fur trapping system out here. And in that fort, he brought around the horn some of the most beautiful pieces of furniture that you could get. The round tables that you see behind me are actually what they call entertainment tables. They were at the fort, along with the leaf table by the window. But one of the most precious things that I love to talk about is Dr. McLaughlin's rocking chair over here in the corner. Mr. McLoughlin, we believe, had that built for him at the carpenter shop in Fort Vancouver. That was Mr. and Mrs. Woods.
Okay.
Arrived at Fort Vancouver, got land from Mr. McLoughlin, and settled in Hillsborough.
Oh, that's great.
And then the following year, in 1844, the Mr. and Mrs. White came out. They settled right next to the Woods, so we got the Woods marrying the Whites, and then the Whites married the Adams, and then the Adams married the Matthews, and here I be.
Excellent.
Kind of what happens.
Excellent. So you are a true Oregonian.
True Oregonian.
Yeah.
Very proud of my heritage. Very proud of being part of the McLoughlin House, because